Okay, good morning. Welcome to day 88. What a fantastic number. 108 days of initiation with me, Sara Marie, and I am free to create. So everyone knows that there's been a big transition happening, moving to a new environment, really shifting things up. And it takes a little bit of time to find that rhythm. And there's a energy that's coming through about freedom to create, and it's the freedom to make moves and freedom to pivot and freedom to allow yourself to align fully with yourself, with your truth. To do that, I'm gonna actually open up the door for Lucky because she's gonna scream in a minute. So hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, so freedom to create is also freedom to make moves and freedom to change, freedom to be flexible, freedom to be spontaneous and not be rigid. So this is about this container actually. So I have finally decided what I'm going to do, and I've shared that to you that I am going to create multiple playlists and open up the channel to create in a broader way. So I'm expanding my capacity, I'm expanding my freedom to create. So after I decided this, I felt really good about it, and I did the rebrand, and then I have 88. So it's 8 plus 12, so it's 20 days left. And then I found myself in like a waiting energy and a kind of hesitant energy, because the creative energy that wants to come through now is not happy with the structure. So there's a conflict between the energetics of the creational expression that wants to come through, and then there's the commitment to a structure that is blocking the creativity. So today we're going to look at all of the things that on your 11 list, or on your if it's a number one thing that you have that you work on, but what you're creating, and look at that and really see if there are structures that are maybe not blocking, but it could be blocking. I mean, I feel a little bit blocked because I have so much. I'm starting to feel almost this constipation sensation again that I've been talking about previously. It looks like I have a very strange neck when the sun is. Anyway, so the structure that I've made for the channel feels really liberating. However, that I'm stuck in the 108 because that energy is kind of blocking the creativity for the other creations that is wanting to come through, if that makes any sense. So I'm really exploring the creative vessel, or my creative vessel, and that's the key to find your freedom to create. And here I notice that people pleasing is a big factor. So I feel trapped and that I can't change. And that is just nonsense, because I've committed to go live for 108 days, and I will go live for 108 days. I just won't go live in the same playlist. Is there any difference? For some, yes. Is there an energetic difference? Huge. It's so strange. For some reason, I don't want to keep pouring in all the energy into this playlist, because I'm starting to, and this is connected to the multidimensional detox and the energetic cleanliness and the where does things belong, because when we start to put things where they belong, the energy starts to open up. So I was completely set on staying with this setup and kind of push through, or I've committed, I've made a commitment, a promise, and it's not that I'm going to change that promise. So what is it? So there's a safety mechanism in like not wanting to change. It's about, so the energy, so I started to connect this energy to the sensation that I'm working through in my belly. So there's the hesitation energy. So I'm using this situation with the freedom to create and the blockages in the YouTube channel to look at my stagnation in my stomach, because before I make any moves, I observe everything very thoroughly. So I notice something and then I pay attention to it. So my awareness is it's like, the awareness is like a software that is running all the time, even if we're sleeping or, doing things. And it's about how aware can you be of the awareness when you are aware of other things at the same time. So it's this multi perception. Like flies, they can look at, they don't have one eye, they have like millions of eyes or multiple eyes. And we are a little bit the same. And that's the interesting thing. I can look at, I don't want to say items, because a fly is not an item, but objects in nature, or because they're not objects, but items, like there's million things. So I observe them and then I see a pattern that they have, or a quality that they have, or a character that they have. And then I can see a resemblance in myself or in the situation. And then I mirror that and I observe, and then I learn more. And it can go in any direction. So the feeling that I have in the stomach is a waiting energy. And it's a hesitant energy. And it's like, it's so deeply connected with this project that I'm doing. It's holding back. It's playing small. And I've been so good at just kind of capsule that in, and that is why I have belly fat. I'm sure. And I mean, not only that, but there's a lot of emotions in there. There's a lot of suppressed behaviors and emotions and energies that I've been very good at, just boxing in and create an identity and all of this is about survival. All of it. It's about the fear of different things. And then, so I've told you that I'm working through my abandonment. And so when we have like areas, and the stomach is such a good example of that, because it's so messy. It's so messy. It's so many things in there. And so I'm noticing it's the hesitant energy, it's the waiting energy, and it's the people-pleasing energy. It's, I can't move because, and that's because, and every time we do that, it's because we are afraid of because when we create something, we get a reaction, and no reaction is also a reaction. So when we put something out there, when we say something, when we express ourselves, and all of this project has to do with expression and truth and authenticity. So when I am accepting my situation in the 108 days, and I'm like, okay, wait, I have to check if there is sound. I forgot. Yeah, this is messy. No. Wrong. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So the hesitant energy, I noticed that my first, and this is the programming. The programming that I have is, I said that I was going to do that, so I'm going to do it, even though it feels like I'm dying inside. So that is a freeze response. So we disconnect from whatever it is that we really don't want to do, but we do it anyway. And that is the form. That is the people pleasing. That is the adapting to someone else's or something else instead of following one's own energy. And I've noticed that this is a pattern that I've had my whole life. Even though I'm very productive, I'm very good at doing things. I've done tons of stuff in my life. I've been powering through and pushing through because I'm intelligent, I'm confident, I'm productive, I'm a sacral generator. It's in my nature. But then I had to override an energy that I didn't want to connect with. So I start to avoid putting myself out there. So it's shrink to fit again, playing small again. And this is what this project is all about, just liberation on all levels. So if I don't have freedom to create, so if I put myself in a situation where I don't have the freedom to create, which I did with this setup, or that that's where it was going, then I realize if I want to fully move through this energy in my stomach, I have to start making these uncomfortable shifts. And so I need to go against what I previously said because the truth has changed. So it's more important to align ourselves with the updated truth, because truth is always changing, because everything is always evolving. And that is one of the biggest mistakes that I've made, was to I thought that if I could just control the world, control my life to a point where everything is perfect, and then everything's going to stay perfect, and then everything is be fine. And that is just such an illusion. One, it's impossible. And two, that's not how life works. So when we become, and this is also connected with the structural changes that I've been speaking about with the fire horse, that we are going from the masculine structures to the feminine flowiness. So it's the rigidity of things is it's like it's not going to be 100% aligned with the truth of the current reality. So if the main energetics that is flowing, in our cosmos is more of the energetics, then that's because the feminine energy is so strong. It's equal power, but different, the masculine and the feminine. And that is the hierarchy that is falling, or hierarchy is falling. No, this one is masculine. Hierarchy is falling and the feminine is rising. And that means that the structures are going to fall, and there are other structures that are more complex and more not as controlled. So the person that is in control of the energy, so you with your energy and me with my energy, it's going to determine who am I and how do I fit in with these structures that are happening. And the truth is going to change, and everything evolves, so things change. And now when we're moving into these more feminine energies, is that we're going to see a lot more moving change. Things are going to flow more. It's going to be less of the like make a plan, and now we're going to make a plan, and this is for the year, and we've always done like this. So if you have a plan that has, if you've had a tradition of doing something every year or doing something the same way, that might change. If you feel like that's not working anymore, it's because we're being called into the feminine with more intuition and more flowiness. So I already decided the setup that the 108 days are going to continue. The 108 days will be my personal blog, my personal update. But it's not going to be every day. It's going to be when I have something to share. But I committed to 108 days. Yes, I will go live for 108 days on my YouTube channel, not in one specific playlist. And just that tiny, tiny shift opened up the energy and the creativity fully. And this is a result of the intense work that I did yesterday, because I was able to fully define what it is that I'm doing right now and right in this moment, to kind of get a snapshot. And from here, then I can start to flow. But I had to have something to stand on. And there's so much new energy coming. So I had to do this big creative push and be very connected to the same thing for a long period of time. And you know that I've been saying that I need uninterrupted time. That's the hermit. I need time to create where no one interferes, not even, coming, knocking on the door, asking me for something, wanting me to go and do something. Because as soon as I go out in another frequency, there's a risk for my creativity, depending on how solid my creative energy is. And as I'm making moves, it's not 100% solid yet. And that is the core of my work. I'm opening up my physical body so that all of these energies are not temporary. I want access to everything all the time. My father said that when I was young, Sara, you want everything now and then more later. It's like, I'm like all or nothing kind of person. So when I've noticed that I can, if I do certain types of work, I remove the blockages inside. No brainer. Like, the fact that the whole planet is not doing this is beyond my it's just beyond me. However, I know that we are on the edge of this, and now the information is open and out there. So I know that people are going to change. I'm just doesn't understand why people aren't, throwing themselves at this work, because it's just, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. And then the body doesn't only, it's just not the feeling, it's the health, it's the mind, it's the organs, it's all of it. It's like vitality and happiness, it's all of it. And it's all connected to the gunk that we have that is unprocessed from the past, and the illusions of the world. Like, this is how things work. No. And people are finding out themselves, because when you have your own experience, there's just nothing is going to budge your truth. So I was sitting with this feeling kind of trapped in my own creation. And one of my coaches, she's all about pivoting. She just makes changes. And I mean, most of my coaches are like that, because I really resonate with that type of like deep connection with the feminine energy, but they don't do it in an unstructured way. They move within the promises that they made. So the freedom to create is the core energy. And if my creation is blocked, then I know that everything is blocked. Then life force is blocked. It's like the circulation of energy is blocked. And that means everything: money, love, connection, everything. If the creative energy is stagnant, then life is stagnant. If creative energy is high, then abundance is high, life force is high. So if you're feeling blocked to create, that is a very interesting situation to be in, because that really gives you an opportunity to look at, where is this blockage coming from? Is it because I have an external energy in my field that is interrupting me? Am I having other situations that is draining my energy? So if I have a situation that I'm worried about, my creative energy is just not working. I have to really alchemize that feeling if I want pure creative energy. I am getting very much, I mean, I've been creating with fear and worry my whole life, but now when I'm noticing that, okay, it doesn't have to be like that anymore. So that is why I'm so clear. I'm just, how to say, there's a lot of small uncomfortable shifts that I can make, or that I have been making lately, because I'm noticing that I don't have, it's like I can't afford not to do them anymore. And that is a very interesting situation to be in, because it's like I can notice how I negotiate with myself, and that's the mind. So the body knows what to do, and then the mind is like, oh, that's uncomfortable. So it's like reasoning with logic to kind of not do the uncomfortable thing. So the uncomfortable thing was to shift things up. And when we shift things up, and that this is connected to, I think it could be a Swedish energy, that we are very, we don't, it's the, I've shared this before, it's the being opposing or defiant. It's the defiant energy. And for me, being defiant is to change things up so that people could be disappointed, and that's the taking responsibility for other people's emotions, and that's a type of people pleasing. So I'm noticing my own people pleasing, I'm noticing my own blockage of creation, I notice where I'm blocked, I notice what I did, so I decided to undo it. And the energy that is coming now, that is definitely connected with the energy in the stomach, and that is, I don't allow that to control me anymore. And when I don't allow it to control me anymore, the energy in the stomach starts to move. So I've been noticing the last week. So I've been doing my internal alchemy. I've been really moving a lot of energy. So this comes into the main intentions that I had about for myself, to launch myself, to launch my brand, to open up the voice. I think that's what I said. No, and get in shape. And the getting in shape has starting to be, I haven't worked out that much. I'm only doing my internal alchemy, and there's a lot of movement in that. So I am moving, but most of all, I'm moving energy. And I'm starting to notice in the mirror that things are shifting in my body. And I can see that for the first time in a very long time, my body is responding in a way that I'm very happy about, which is very interesting. So something is shifting. And I can see the silhouette of my body is, the shape is starting to shift a little bit. And I can see that I'm getting toned in a way that I haven't noticed before. So I see that something is different this time. And that really motivates me. So that motivates me to do more of the uncomfortable shifts and changes. So what happened was, today I realized, okay, because I have this video that I want to create, and this format is blocking it, which is very interesting. So I had to kind of make this announcement before I can make this other video. So we'll see if the energy wants to come through for that video, because what I need to do is to shorten the gap between the creative process and the deliverance of the transmission. And that is too long right now because I'm in this format, and because I'm a little bit I can feel that this hesitancy, this like I'm gonna do here, and that's no strange to kind of, you know, look around before you make moves, kind of feel into things. But what I'm noticing is this energy in the stomach, and this energy is so alive right now. So it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since 4, I think. I sleep very strange. I slept the whole night and then woke up, and so I haven't eaten. And that created a very interesting sensation in the stomach. So I'm connecting also the sensation of hunger to this connection, to this sensation. So I started to have a sensation of hunger that isn't hunger. And I called it out just before this session, because the energy, the sensation in the body said, because I started to shake a little bit and started to feel like a real bit ungrounded. And hunger. And then I was like, okay, what if this isn't hunger? Because now I'm moving through the energy of my stomach, and I know that, you know, the first idea of what happens might not be the truth. So just speaking to it moves the energy. So it's like a nauseous energy. And I decided to go live with this energy instead of doing anything about it and see what happens. So I'm working a lot with moving the energy in my body and in the stomach, and it's deeply connected to this. So I'm being called to to really look again. What is it that I'm avoiding? And it's interesting because it's a full moon coming up. And I spoke to this the other day also, that it is the same cleansing process all the time. It's like, that's the nature of the work and that's how we evolve. You know, when you shed skin, we are shedding skin all the time. There's like dead particles, dead cells that is falling off. So we are supposed to update ourselves. We're supposed to look at, if I change all the time, there's always going to be a layer that is about to fall off. If everything is constantly moving, improving, evolving, then something is always going to fall off. But if we keep holding on to the things that is supposed to fall off, that's the key. It's the same thing with what you put in your mouth. If you eat too much toxins, let's just cluster them as toxins. And toxins are the things that the body doesn't really want in the body, and that takes much longer to break down. And most of the time the body are unable to break it down, so it needs to save it somewhere. And it saves it inside of fat cells and different places. So that's when the body starts to break down, because we're carrying too much that is not ours. That's when we gain weight. That's when we collect water. That's when, and all of this is connected to belief systems that is not working or that is outdated, emotions that hasn't been processed, addressed, or felt. All of this is collected in the fascia and the nervous system. So the fascia and the nervous system are basically connected. And this is it's like, so we're carrying it in our bodies. And that's what I've been doing. My body has been carrying. That's why I have extra water retention and extra weight. It's because the body is carrying, it's holding something for me. So when I start to open up the channels in the physical body, in the emotional body, in the energetical body, in the meridians, I start to open the flow, and the body is increasing its own vitality, because the body is a self-healing mechanism that takes care of everything by itself, unless you overload it. And that's what we're doing. We're overloading the energies in the body with different things. And the freedom to move, the freedom to make decisions, the freedom to create is the antidote to the stagnation. One of the antidotes to the stagnation. So we have to address the stagnation on different levels. That's the multidimensional. We're just not a single dimensional being. Period. That is just not what's happening on this planet. So we can't function like that, tit for tat, this or that, rule this and this and that. This is the rule that works for everyone. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. We can see clusters, we can see trends, we can see that some people are having similar experience and similar symptoms and similar expressions, but it's never one for all. Never, 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 never. I mean, if you study marketing, target groups, everyone is not a target group. So if business has figured that out, it's applicable for everything. We know that. Everyone who has multiple kids knows that they're not the same. Anyone who has multiple friends knows they're not the same. Anyone who has multiple family members knows they're not the same. We don't function the same way. So you have to figure out what is it that it takes to unlock your life, your creativity. Because if you unlock the creativity, everything's going to change. And that's what people are afraid of also, change. So they don't create, even if that's what they want to do. So that's what I've been doing. It's like I want something so bad, but I'm still playing small. And that is just baffling to me. It's like I still find things that I do, even though I feel like I have my awareness on point, like it's awake all the time. But it's because it doesn't work like that. The body doesn't go from 1 to 100. The fascia and the nervous system releases toxins and imprints slowly. And that doesn't mean that it goes slow, because anyone who's been in this process and people who have been working with me, they know that, wow, the process is, even though it doesn't feel like the process is processing all the time, it is processing all the time. And you start to feel the shifts quickly, because it will manifest in the material world very quickly in the beginning of this journey. So you get results quickly. And yet I have to understand that my body is also unraveling from what it's been through, because life is lifing all the time. And sometimes we have very strong experiences that are very difficult, and sometimes we don't. We can go long periods of time with peace and or even it doesn't even have to feel like peace. It can be mundane, and if we have unprocessed events, emotions, memories, situations from the past, even the peace doesn't feel like peace. It feels like mundane. And that's where I've been most of my life, that the peace, just because peace is silence, stillness. And what the stillness and the silence and the peace also reveals is what not silent, and what is not peaceful, and what is not still. So when we become peaceful, we also understand what is not peaceful. So it's the contrast. If we have a dark room, we can see the light much easier. So life is interesting that way. It's complex. And finding our way in this wild place is not the easiest thing. So it's about finding these small pockets to unlock. That is the process. And then sometimes, when we go into the deep stuff and we really find the keys, because I was working with a lady one time, and there was an event that happened in her childhood. It was a one-time thing, and that completely affected huge part of her life. And when that was revealed, that particular incident, that little pocket just, it was connected with, if I would say, more than 20 different patterns and behaviors and situations and feelings. I'm not underestimating, or I'm not exaggerating. And when she cleared that, her whole life, her whole personality opened up, because there was so much shame and horrified feelings and just contraction. And when we are young, it might, and this is not even, no one was abusing her. She was just made fun of in a public space. And that just shut her down. And I realized that I was not made fun of, but I said something to someone, and she just absolutely destroyed me in front of the class. And that was, I think it was in like 7th grade or something. How old are you? Like 12, 13? Yeah, that was. So these incidents can shut us down on a deep level, and it takes time for the body to unravel all of these situations. Because, I mean, if you're like me, I'm 48. I mean, I've been doing things. I've been active, so to speak, except for the last 9 years. I've been very active, but not moving around the world. So I was like compensating for the busyness that I've. So now I feel like it took me 9 years to balance out whatever I've been doing before. And we have these situations that has put imprints on us, and public humiliation. That's one thing. And then there's these other horrific things that people go through. And if we just look at how deeply these situations can affect us, and we need to look at because of what we've been through in one situation, if we are remotely in the same situation again, the body is gonna have things to say about that. And we got to find the way out of this tension and contraction, because the tension and contraction lives in the nervous system and the fascia, and that just shuts the whole body down slowly. So over generations, we see that the people are inheriting. I mean, people are just in terrible shape nowadays. I mean, we are living on an absolute. Just because you don't have illness, that is like the definition of health is no major disease. And most people have problems with insomnia. Most people are allergic to something. So it's about the stomach. I can't eat this. I mean, look at people's food. Can't eat this, can't eat that. And that is not good. That is, I mean, kids having cancer, and it's just, I mean, it's so It's about what I decide to spend any sort of interaction with is going to impact me. So if I am the food that I eat, the people that I am with, the video that the reels that I'm interacting on social media, the people that I connect with, the people that I allow in my inbox to have access to me, do they reach out to me with a nice and friendly voice, or do I have people in my environment that is not treating me with respect or care, or all of that is affecting us in a much 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 deeper way than we think it does. And it's the freeze and the disconnect that makes it like unaccessible to us, because we just disconnect with the feeling. And so it's about that awareness, and it's not a reprimand, it's a free choice. It's an absolute free choice to, and that is the power of creation, is the choice. I make the choice every day. So today I chose, and now when I spoke about it, I don't have that weird sensation, this weird, it's like a hunger that is sour, that is, it's like an energy that is just going down, and it creates a feeling inside that is like, it's almost like an urgency. And when it's an urgency, then I know, like, okay, this is not real. This is I'm not going to fall into this. I'm going to look at this instead. So I'm making the freedom to create. I'm giving myself the freedom to create. And to do that, I have to change the setup of this structure. And what I was feeling was that I'm not keeping my promise. And that is just absolutely not true, because and then I looked, okay, what is my commitment? Yeah, it's going live for 108 days. Yeah, that's going to increase, because with the freedom that I have, I would probably make more than one video per day. So when I find the way, there's going to be a because there's energy that is contracted and kind of is not free to move, there might be a burst of more creation. We'll see what happens. And today Simba is coming back also, so whoops. So that's also going to be interesting, because I've been alone. What's going to happen when there's another person in my space? No, I noticed that I'm already like, what's going to happen when someone comes into my space? And it just proves the multidimensional detox, and that how deeply my body wants to remove everything that is blocking my creative channel. So that's why I made this decision. And so I feel that there's something new coming. There's a new energy of creation. There's a new, because it's very easy for me to just show up like this to talk about myself and talk about what's happening. So I will keep on doing this in this format. So what I am feeling is that the 108 days is going to go beyond 108 days. But it's not going to be every day. Might not be every day in the 108 days. But this is becoming like my podcast, like my personal podcast, where I show up and talk about myself. No, but talk about what I'm going through, because I want to document my experience. I want to document what I'm noticing, and I want to do that in another format where it's much, much, much more free for me to create. And then I want to start to do transmission on certain topics that are more, this is like a wide space. This is like, I have no time restraint. It's just me, myself, and I, it's like, there's a certain vibe in this channel. And that's what I was sensing. I have to have multiple vibes because I don't want to be only in this vibe. So the other videos that I'm going to make are going to be more on a topic, more transmission, maybe shorter, maybe just, I wouldn't say more professional, but maybe in that area, because I still want to be myself. I still want to be completely natural and whatever. So that's still going to continue. But I want to have a freedom to create multiple videos on one day without feeling limited. And I feel limited with the 108 days of being every day, because that, I don't have a problem to do a video every day, but I have a problem showing up in this channel every day with this vibe. And you know that I've said that when things become too repetitive, then I'm just out. So I'm noticing that there's just the creative energy just dies. So I have to find a way to keep my energetics, the integrity of my energetics, the integrity of my creativity, and still deliver what I want to deliver. So this is the way. And I feel really good about this. So I'm very excited about, now I've been, making a big deal out of this next video because I'm going to bring in my whiteboard. I was like, oh, I wish I have a whiteboard. I want to show like a model of, I want to illustrate the energetics that I'm going to talk about. And I was like, oh, then I have to have a standing whiteboard. Okay, then I have to raise the computer and I have to change. Okay. And then I realized I have a whiteboard and it's a floor whiteboard. So I will be sitting and do my whiteboard. Things like that. It just opens up. So I've been cleaning the whiteboard. It's not a very pretty whiteboard, but it's the one I have. So I've been cleaning it and I'm excited about this. So I'm building it up for myself. So I'm making it a thing. And that also makes me hesitant. So when the creative energy is blocked in one way, then it kind of multiplies and it builds on in other levels as well. So I noticed myself that I was like getting a little bit like, not constipated, but like a little bit bombarded. It's like I have things on me. That's how it feels. And I'm back to long streams. So something's happening. Okay. Thank you for today. And I am very excited about the next steps and my own creativity. And if you enjoy my content, please follow and subscribe for more. And I will be seeing you later today, hopefully, but not in this this playlist. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.